This is the first topic that represents macroeconomics. And more specifically, we talk in this topic about there being three things that macroeconomists think a great deal about. That they think about um, production levels, they think about prices, and they think about employment. And so, what we do here in this last part of the course is we look at each of those three. And this first topic looks at how economists measure production. Production within the economy has a name. It's called the gross domestic product, or GDP. And the thing to pay attention to for each of these three statistics as we talk about them, we want to focus on their definition. What is the mathematical equation for them? And what is that statistic? Does it accurately measure actual production, or are there deficiencies in that measure? As we'll see here, the equation for GDP is consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net exports. And one of the large deficiencies that we see is that we do not get any appreciation for things that are occurring within a household, or anything that's being produced illegally, although it's still production. Or even things like the reselling of used goods, or things that we do for fellow family members, things like that. And that one of the other things that we see is that we need to distinguish between nominal GDP and real GDP, with that difference being how do we take into account price changes. Real GDP has a base year price, and it uses that same price for both years. Nominal GDP just takes price times quantity for each of the years. That pretty much summarizes what we're going to be doing in this topic. Many students find macroeconomics much more fun than microeconomics because of its realism. And so as you start to read this chapter and go through this topic's material, you may find a greater deal of interest just because you can kind of relate to some of the material a little bit more closely.